Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are the West.
Head-to-head this season, wins have been largely one-sided. At times, they've been a bit contentious. Tonight we'll rekindle this AL West rivalry with the start of a 4-game series at Globe Life Park. The Ranger mindset for this matchup, payback, with the support of the home faithful behind them. Rangers baseball presented by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light, done right. And it is another scorcher. As it looks like the dog days of summer are going to get their last licks in here one final time. Angels and Rangers, first of 4 from Globe Life Park tonight. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond alongside CJ Nitkowski. Great American League West rivalry. In fact, this is the first of 12 remaining games between these two teams down the stretch, so get used to it. One thing we don't normally talk about when we open a series are players who will not be participating, at least in tonight's game. And we know that to be the case tonight. Mike Trout not even here with the Angels. And Adrian Beltre still day-to-day, but not in there for the Rangers.
Yeah, and so there's good news, bad news. And you're talking about a couple of guys that are going to find themselves in the Hall of Fame. At least we know Adrian Beltre's headed there, and a pretty good chance that Mike Trout is going as well. But this happened on Monday night in the game. Adrian Beltre pulling up there as he was scoring on a base hit. But the good news is that he's only day-to-day, and so far he is able to avoid the DL. Mike Trout, though, not nearly as lucky. We'll take it back to August 2nd when he hurt that wrist on this slide right here. And so the Angels have been without their superstar since then. They've had a lot of injuries to deal with, but none bigger than Mike Trout.
Yeah, they have been terribly hurt all year long. Still 2 games over 500. Now, guys who are playing, there are some notable guys playing who are swinging the bats well right now, and one of them certainly Elvis Andrus.
Yeah, and of course Elvis Andrus is such a big part of what happens here with the Texas Rangers on the field and off as well. What he does in the clubhouse is a big part of what Elvis Andrus contributes. But it's that 24-game hit streak since 2010. You look at the list here, reaching base safely in 34 straight, and then of course that home streak as well for Elvis Andrus. But we talk about him a lot. We talk about how he balances out the line. This is a guy who can do it all. He can hit for average. He can hit for power. One of my favorite things about him, too, is he can get the high velocities up in the zone. That's so important in today's game. We have so many hard throwers that love to throw those fastballs up. Very difficult to get that pitch by Elvis.
All right, so hopefully he continues his hot ways here against the Angels. The team's struggling right now in terms of pitching. Starting pitching has been absolutely ravaged by injury. Now, the other side of that is one of their pitchers is actually one of their best hitters as well, Shohei Ohtani.
And he's one of their best pitchers when he's out there, but right now he is only doing one of the things that he is great at. And what's he really doing lately? Well, he's proving people wrong, because you go back to spring training and there was a lot of concern. We all had it whether or not he could hit at the big league level. Well, he has proved that he can, and over his last 10 games, he has been red hot. 345 batting average to 3 home runs, the OPS over 1,100. There is a lot of power in that bat. We're going to dig in a little bit more over the course of the game into Shohei Ohtani, but he is the real deal when he's up there at the plate.
Well, one other Ranger who has been going pretty well lately is Jurickson Profar. You might even be surprised when you take a look at some of the career numbers for him. We'll put those in the spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is sponsored by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. By Shiner Light Blonde. It's light, done right. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Our Shiner Light Blonde spotlight today on Jurickson Profar.
Yeah, kind of interesting to take a look at what he has done this year compared to the previous 4 seasons. And the thing that sticks out probably more than anything to me is what he has done against left-handed pitching. This was a concern for the Rangers coming in, and Jurickson Profar has done an excellent job to see the 277 batting average against those lefties compared to the 188 that he had previously posted. Of course, we're seeing some power from him as well. That slugging that we have seen from Jurickson, the Band-Aids are off. He is back, but really he has been terrific all year long.
I want to say nothing of the versatility he has shown defensively. Well, we mentioned that Adrian Beltre not in the lineup today for an update on the Rangers veteran. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, Adrian spoke today before the game and asking him if he is approaching this situation a little bit differently considering where he is at this point in his career. He admitted that he is. He's trying to avoid going to the disabled list for the 3rd time this season. He says he's not frustrated, but he is starting to evaluate things differently. And he even said, he's starting to think about maybe it's time to say bye to you guys, meaning those of us in the media who pester him all the time. And so he really is trying to avoid the disabled list, but you can tell he's looking at things a lot differently because he's just at a different place in his career. So not on the DL right now and just continuing to be day-to-day with that hamstring, but you can tell the wheels are turning in Mr. Beltre's head.
I don't like that word goodbye, but I understand. Now, he could also just say goodbye to us and still play. I'm okay with that. Says whatever it takes. But you can never have enough or too much Adrian Beltre in your life. That much is quite clear.
It's like cowbell.
It's just like cowbell. Not like Kole Calhoun, who, by the way, has really turned things around this year for the Angels. Right fielder leading it off today. And you see when he is hit in the top spot of the order, the number's very good, 336 average. Far cry better than his overall average this year of 221. But the power numbers have resurfaced. 16 homers, 49 RBIs for him. And he takes off the plate, a ball and 2 strikes.
That's been important to get him going. It was pretty shocking to see how much he had struggled at the beginning of the season and then dealing with injury as well. This guy's always been a really good player. He's always a guy that's been a little bit underrated over the years. But this has been a trying season for Kole Calhoun. What if we just tell Adrian we promise not to talk to him or look at him in the eyes or anything like that? Would that consider? It's okay, then I'll definitely play.
I mean, this one hit sharply out into right field by Calhoun. And so the Angels have their lead man on. Now, in other news today, the Rangers did announce that Nomar Mazara activated from the disabled list in the lineup today. So they get Nomar back. Willie Calhoun option back to Round Rock, but great to see Nomar back in there and ready to go, and says he's, look, as close to full strength as he's going to be for a while.
Yeah, it's good to see that familiar face in right field and back where he belongs. That is his spot out there. The Rangers used Joey Gallo out there a little bit. We saw Chu getting a few more starts than we usually would see defensively, and Nomar is ready to go, and it's good to have him back in the lineup.
And so with Mazara in there today and in right field, it means that Gallo, who had played a lot of right field in his absence, has swung all the way over to the other side of the diamond and now will be in left tonight. So we talk so much about Jurickson Profar's versatility, or what we've seen from Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and we ho-hum take for granted, it seems like, the incredible versatility and abilities that we see from Joey Gallo, who, by the way, just shows up every day and always ready, always in there in the lineup.
And I thought he looked pretty comfortable in right field, and a lot of people say, what's the difference? Left field, right field, corner outfield spot, but the ball comes off the bat differently. The angles are different. He had a chance to show off his arm a couple of times when he is in right. We know, of course, he's got a great arm, but I thought he did a pretty good job adjusting to right field, considering he had never played there in the big leagues.
1-2. the count on Fletcher. Calhoun makes his return to first. Ariel Jurado has the start today. 2 wins, 2 losses. This is his 5th start with the Rangers. The ERA at 5.66 for him. And stories like Jurado's, one of those that we tend to pay close attention to in this second half. The 22-year-old rookie to the plate and another foul ball. 1-2.
Yeah, it's important time for him. This is the first opportunity that Jurado gets the pitch in the big leagues, and we've seen him do some pretty good things. And he'll get tested, obviously, every lineup that he faces, but then also, as we get a little bit deeper in the season, the idea of pitching competitively into September is something that he has never done before. And so for a 22-year-old kid, that's always a big first test, is how deep you go, how you feel. And there's a lot to like about what we've seen so far from Jurado. There'll be some ups, there'll be some downs, but I think this is a kid that certainly has an opportunity to have a future here in the Texas Rangers rotation.
Well, he's working hard here against David Fletcher, starting second baseman tonight. Check-in of Calhoun, not going anywhere. 5 steals this year and 6 tries for Calhoun. Long hold and a look. And the pitch to Fletcher, line to center field. Calhoun, though, will have to stop at second base. So back-to-back singles. And that's how we have started this one tonight. So the Angels feeling good about that. Been playing some pretty good baseball lately as we take a look at their starting lineup tonight. Calhoun and Fletcher, you've just seen. Now it's Justin Upton, Shohei Ohtani, the DH, and Albert Pujols at first, who will bat 5th. Then it's Andrelton Simmons at shortstop, Arcia the catcher, Taylor Ward recently called up playing third base, and Eric Young Jr. in center field rounding it out. So Jurado back-to-back singles. Does have that heavy sinker. I'd love to see him take advantage of that. Maybe get Upton to help him out here with a little ground ball.
So what's important for Jurado is his ability to keep that pitch down. That base hit that was just hit to center field was a 2-seam fastball that was located up. The game that he pitched against the Astros, and he was really good in that game. He had really good command on the inside part of the plate with that pitch. There's a good little backdoor 2-seamer that just misses. And he was getting swings, and saw some good hitters in that Astros lineup that were struggling with that pitch, and we saw some weak contact, and that's the key for Jurado, and always will be. That's his game, is the 2-seam fastball. But location is really important.
Well, tried for that inside corner and very narrowly missed.
It's a pretty good one here at 90 miles an hour. Go ahead and take a look at Robinson Chirinos' glove. I mean, that's pretty much exactly where he wanted it. He did bring the glove up a little bit at the end, but that's a pretty good looking pitch. And maybe even more frustrating for a pitcher is when you throw that kind of pitch and don't get a swing either.
Yeah. Vic Carapazza, our plate umpire. This ball hit out to left center, drops in, base hit. Calhoun will round third. He scores. Fletcher to third base on the Upton single. So the Angels score first. 3 straight singles, and it's 1-0.
After missing with the previous fastball, Jurado's forced to come over the plate a little bit more in a 2-1 count. There's a good look at that grip. He turns that ball over very nicely. This is a good swing by Justin Upton, who has been locked in lately and swinging a really good bat, and a good fastball hitter he has been over the course of his career.
So they're on the corners. There's Fletcher after the Upton single. And now Shohei Ohtani, and he takes a strike. Now Ohtani, and there is the DH today. These Angels coming off a sweep at San Diego, so that interleague play pretty much shelved Ohtani, limiting him to pinch hit duties. So they're happy to be able to put him back in the lineup now on a daily basis. Hits this on the ground, and boy, that one tied up Elvis Andrus. RBI single by Ohtani. Well, that one got Andrus as well. Look out. 2-0.
This ball was hit pretty hard right at Elvis Andrus. Take a look first at the pitch, and that's a nice job by Ohtani. You see, Elvis thought he was going to have a chance to backhand that. I think he thought that's originally what was going to happen. That ball got on him a little quicker than expected, as you see him right there, kind of flinching and unable to come up with that one. There's been some good swings and some hard contact here against Jurado, as you see Ronald Guzman and Robinson Chirinos. Let's take a look at the Shiner Light Blonde pitch arsenal for Ariel Jurado. Mentioned that he throws the fastball out. He does. The two-seamer 71% of the time. You'll see the slider, the changeup, the four-seamer, the curveball, a little bit each of those, all under 10%. But it's about the two-seam fastball, and so far the location has not been there. There's been some hard contact against that pitch for Jurado.
Things don't get any easier now with Albert Pujols. Pujols, look at that number at the bottom of your screen there, a .530 career slugging percentage in this ballpark. And Rangers fans don't need any reminders of the damage he has done here, whether it be as an Angel or back in the day as a Cardinal. And he hits this one into left field. That's a base hit. Gallo up with a baseball. They'll go station to station. The bases are loaded on 5 consecutive singles to start the game.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. No extra base hits here for the Angels. They're just coming out. They're hitting some pretty firm line drives. You see that elevated two-seam fastball, not what Jurado wants to do in that spot. Again, he is best when he is down in the zone. And Albert Pujols, a guy who can still get to some pitches up in the zone.
So the bases are loaded. 2 runs are in for Andrelton Simmons. And the first pitch, he hits this one into short left field. Gallo, I should say medium deep, is there to make the catch, and nobody will advance. Nice throw back in to the infield, and it's just a routine fly ball out to left. One away.
Let's take a look at the Ranger defense, which is delivered to you by Chicken Express this evening. You just saw Joey Gallo in left field making that play. Delano DeShields, Nomar Mazara round out the outfield for Jeff Bannister tonight. And in the infield, Jurickson Profar, Elvis Andrus on the left side, and on the right side, it's Rugen Odor and Ronald Guzman with Robinson Chirinos behind the plate.
And Joey now checks the chart. Gets himself positioned for Francisco Arcia, the catcher. And that one is off the plate. Interesting now, after that last fly ball out by Andrelton Simmons, it's the 88th at bat this year for the Angels with the bases loaded, and they are the only team without a grand slam this year. And this one down the third baseline. That'll be a base hit for Arcia. 2 runs are in. Pujols chugging for third, and Arcia with a 2-run double. And it is 4-0.
The Angels have come out swinging tonight against Jurado. Let's take a look at this fastball. Look at it again, up in the zone and catching the middle of the plate. Robinson Chirinos wanted that pitch down and away. And Jurado's not a guy with overwhelming velocity. He relies on the movement, location, and so when you have a pitcher like that who misses location, he becomes much more hittable. He's not going to blow the ball by anybody up in the zone. We talk about this a lot with Bartolo Colon, same style. Jurado's a guy who's not afraid to throw strikes. His walk rate has been under 3. It's been really good. But if he misses location, this is one of the issues he can run into.
A bit of a mess here in the first inning. Boy, Doug Bocale, that looks like a pretty emphatic conversation he's having out there. Our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. You see the left-hander Matt Moore getting ready as quickly as he can. Now, coming into this game, it was a bullpen day for the Angels. We knew that coming in. They've gone through enough injury that they really, as of a day ago, didn't have starters for either tonight's game or tomorrow's game. And they went out and made an acquisition and have an arm set for tomorrow's start. But today's a bullpen day for them. And a little grounder shortstop. Andrus goes on over to first to get Taylor Ward for the second out of the inning, but they let Pujols score. It's 5-0. The assumption coming in was that the Rangers' advantage tonight would be that throwing Jurado, you figure starter goes relative length, and the bullpen will be rested and ready for the rest of the weekend, whereas you might get a jump on the Angels and wear out their bullpen a little. Eric Young Jr. Little pop-up. Third base side. This may end the inning. It does. Tough inning it was, though. 5 runs for the Angels. They leave a man, and now the Rangers will come to bat. Pitch, but now we'll see if the Rangers can chip away at that early lead for the Angels. Taking a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Rangers. Chu leading it off at DH. Odor batting second. Andrus at shortstop bats third. Mazara, Profar, Gallo in the middle of things. Chirinos catching. Guzman at first, and Delano DeShields in center field rounding it out.
And they'll be going up against Taylor Cole, the right-hander for the Angels. And we'll take a look at the Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight for the reliever who is starting today. It's a 3-pitch mix, but 3 pitches that he uses pretty evenly. The 4-seam fastball and the changeup, both at 37% this year, and the slider at 26%. Now, we did throw 3 2/3 innings at Cleveland. That was back on August 5th, but that was not a start. That was actually a relief outing. He does have 1 start this season, but a game in which he only pitched an inning and a third.
Yeah, Mike Scioscia said today before the ball game, look, we're not looking for 70 or 80 pitches out of the guy. We'll just monitor it as we move along, see how he looks and feels, and in particular, monitor him and his reaction to the heat tonight. And we'll go from there. So they'll just see what they get. I mean, here's a guy who spent basically his entire minor league career as a starter, so
but no starts. No starts this year, though. 32 games in AAA and not a single start in there. So you start to wonder, as you mentioned, that Mike Scioscia's not going to push it a little bit. They have 9 relievers, I believe it is right now. Anyway, so it feel like a spring training game, and this is a conversation that goes on around baseball. Would this be a more effective way?
Hard ground ball by Chu. But he is retired, 1 away.
All right, let's take a look at the Angels defense this evening, which is brought to you by Jack in the Box. In the outfit for Mike Scioscia's club is Justin Upton, Eric Young Jr., and Kole Calhoun. And in his infield, you're going to see Taylor Ward, Anderson Simmons, David Fletcher, and Albert Pujols, with Francisco Arcia doing the catching.
So 1 away, and here is Rougned Odor. Brugge hitting .271, 14 home runs this year. And he'll drag a bunt first base side. Cole off the hill nicely and takes care of Odor for out number 2.
It's a nice play. I thought that bounce might have worked in Odor's favor to give him just a little bit of an extra step. As you take a look at this bunt right here, this is a good play. Watch him come in, but I thought that higher bounce and the way that it came down, you see that ball almost kind of checked up a little bit. Sometimes that'll throw a pitcher off. He knew he did not have time to set his feet, and so he rushed that throw. That's why it went up the line a little bit, but Albert Pujols makes a nice play. I don't talk about the height advantage too much in baseball, but if that was Ronald Guzman, that ball's going to probably hit him in the back of the helmet. And he's going to be
a
safe.
Good point. Well, Andrus will take a strike. Elvis batting third, and sort of incumbent on him now to maybe even take 2 strikes. Fairly quick bottom of the first so far for Cole, and that's after a very lengthy top of the first and a tough one for Ariel Jurado. 1 ball 1 strike here to Andrus. Started after that and he went, according to Carapazza.
So it was only 23 pitches. I mean, if you're looking for any kind of bright side from that top of the first inning, first 5 guys had singles and they all ended up scoring. But whatever that's worth, 23 pitches to go through 9 batters, and perhaps how many times have we seen a pitcher struggle in the first inning, maybe get settled down, and Jurado can kind of get it going and try to give the Rangers some length.
Full count.
So if you're Taylor Cole, like, okay, you know, they know they'd probably be thrilled with 2 innings, but you get spotted 5 runs in the first. You're like, oh, you know, I can somehow find a way to get through 5 innings. He doesn't have any big league wins.
Well, I mean, you know, you look at his relief outings this year, his debut with the Angels, he went 3 innings. The majority of his outings have been 2+. 2 1/3 against the Dodgers, back-to-back outings in which he threw 2 innings. I mean, they've used him sort of in that middle long relief role. I think it's reasonable that he could pitch 3, maybe even 4 innings. 5, he's probably going to have some good fortune smile upon him, and he walks Andrus there. That sort of thing's not going to help him.
No, certainly not. And if the thought crossed his mind at all, right after those 5 runs and 2 quick outs, I'd say probably about where he is now, 10 to 12 pitches into this outing, he's like, oh yeah, this isn't Southern California anymore, where he was probably feeling pretty good every day. It's about 75 degrees with 0 humidity. Get on the mound here in Arlington this time of year for visiting players, it can be a real challenge.
Mazara, his first game back. Great to have him back and healthy. And he takes low and away. Nomar was placed on the disabled list July 17th. That right thumb sprain that he incurred in that series with Baltimore right before the All-Star break. Last game that he played was July 14th in Baltimore. On a 6-game rehab assignment, hits this ball well out to center field. Young going back, he's at the wall, and it's gone off the top of the fence and into the seats. A 2-run home run for Nomar Mazara. Welcome back, Maz.
Well, it says if he never left, and Nomar Mazara, for us, the conversation a lot has been very similar to Chu. His ability to drive the ball the other way. He really is a complete hitter. He's got a much more level swing than your standard big leaguer these days. A guy that can hit for average, but can also do this. I mean, listen, that's a pitch that is middle and almost, you know, middle down and maybe even slightly in. And a lot of hitters will try to turn and burn on that pitch, but not for Nomar Mazara. He actually keeps his hands in and drives this thing a long way to left center field. That is not easy to do.
And now Profar takes ball 1. Jurickson 249 average, 13 home runs. Takes upstairs. Let's check in with Emily.
Well, Nomar was not bashful about his disdain for the disabled list. Anxious to get back out there, especially considering the young core of guys that started to really produce after the All-Star break. Really wanted to be a part of that, but also realized the organization's desire to, deal with his situation deliberately and to not rush him back. But he was very anxious before today's game to get back in the lineup, and I guess we see now why he was.
And that's good. You love that, right? You don't want anybody getting comfortable. You look at the overall season for the Rangers, and you don't want anybody to get complacent. I think that's really important. I think it also speaks to how much he likes being around his teammates. This is a good group of young players that enjoy playing together.
And that echoed right back the other way, too, right? The guys excited to have him back in the clubhouse today with him. He also spoke. It's kind of funny because we talked about this in New York. 2-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Profar strikes out. Ooh, and that one just dangles out there. There's a little teaser. You'll have to come back to get the rest of that one. Rangers get on the board. A 2-run homer by Maz. And it takes us to the second at a 5-2 game. Nomar Mazara with a 2-run homer. Takes a little bite into that 5-run advantage that the Angels built in their half of the first. So second inning, and it looks like it's not going to be a pitcher's duel tonight. Top of the order coming here for the Angels, and Jurado with the specs on and goes after Calhoun, up and away with ball 1.
He did not have them on in the first inning.
Right.
Or we had that conversation in New York. He did not have them on for the first 2 innings, and it has to do with basically glare and time of day, and let's see if that makes a difference. He comes out throwing a couple of off-speed pitches to start this inning. I mentioned he is really heavy with the fastball usage, so maybe trying to get some of these Angel hitters off the heater, but those off-speed pitches need to be in the strike zone.
Going on the corner, 2-1 to Kole Calhoun. Calhoun's start to the season was as notable as any, but for all the wrong reasons. He takes outside, 3-1. There was a time there where you wondered, and he wondered, would he be able to turn it around? And there was a lot of concern as to what was happening offensively with him. He's always a very good defensive outfielder, so that part of the game never tends to leave as he takes this one in the air to left field. Gallo going back, looks up, and that one is gone. Calhoun's 17th home run of the year. And so the Angels aren't done scoring tonight. And it's now 6-2.
Well, that's certainly frustrating for Jurado because he knows the Rangers come back. They score a couple of runs, but he falls behind Kole Calhoun. And he goes with the two-seam fastball. There's a good look at the grip for Calhoun, knowing he can probably sit on that pitch in that spot. Takes a really good, healthy hack, and it's not a bad pitch. And Joey Gallo kind of knew it right away. He started jogging after this one. I think he had a pretty good idea that this one was not coming back.
So now David Fletcher, and he takes a strike. Well, already a good night for Calhoun. Fletcher had a base hit, scored a run in the first inning. And it is 1-1. Angels have played pretty well lately. They've won 7 of their last 9 games. Fletcher hits this one to a similar spot to left. This one not going to carry though. Gallo tucks it away. One gone. All right, our T-Mobile built for baseball. Oh, has anyone been more built for baseball than that man, Joe West, Major League umpire of some repute. Fans very well aware of him. Today, he becomes the 2nd all-time on the games worked list. Bill Clem, 5,375 games worked, is the all-time leader. And now West, just 211 games behind him. Past Bruce Fremming today is a strike in there to Upton. It's 1-1.
What about the story you left us hanging when we went to break?
Well, actually, I'm kind of curious, since we're on the Joe West thing.
Okay.
Did you have any run-ins?
No, not that I can remember. I only got kicked out of 2 games. One was Rick Reed, and I believe C.B. Buckner was the other.
CB's here tonight.
Yeah, I'll have to rehash that a little bit.
Anything you'd like to tell him?
No, I told you that story. So I got fined for benches had cleared, and I hit Kenny Lofton. I came out of the bullpen first pitch, and I hit him. Completely accidental. All right, I take it back. I didn't even hit him. It was up and in. And I got booted, and I was pretty frustrated by it. But he was trying to keep the peace, although there was no intent. So I got fined $500. I got a letter from the commissioner. No, at the time, this is when we had league presidents.
Okay.
There used to be separate league presidents. Now we don't do that anymore in baseball. And so I accepted my 2-day suspension, my $500 fine. I sent a letter to Gene Budig. He appreciated my letter.
Wow, that's very nice.
And gave me my check back. Yeah, how about that?
On the condition you would never speak on the matter.
Don't ever write me another letter again. Here's your check. But CB thought maybe there was some intent. It was actually typical of me. I was trying to throw a fastball down and away. Kenny Lofton, left-handed hitter. I missed up and in and got kicked out of the game.
3-2 pitch, and Upton strikes out swinging. 2 away. MLB At Bat is your #1 Rangers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Rangers home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and a whole lot more. Download MLB At Bat today. All right, here is Shohei Ohtani. I understand that Joe West went out to dinner to celebrate his career milestone in Minneapolis.
Oh.
And that the waiter brought him a menu in Braille.
No, he did not. That would be fantastic.
I believe that the Pirates broadcast today went with that story.
Oh.
And I think they were, I don't know for a fact, but I think they were a little tongue-in-cheek. But it wouldn't be surprising. Joe West is a notable umpire. Everybody aware of him, which as an umpire, suppose you could argue may not be the direction you want to go. Maybe you don't want people to know who you are. A swing and a miss. Ohtani chases one upstairs. The inning is done. So Jurado settles down a little bit. It's still 6-2. CiCi's Pizza. Head to CiCi's Buffet for new endless pan pizzas available in Meat Eater and Supreme. The bottom of the second inning, and Joey Gallo will lead things off here for the Rangers. Apparently the Braille menu was true.
Really? That's fantastic.
That's pretty fun.
And while that is interesting, I'm a little locked in on the Meat Eater pizza.
Yeah?
That's
you like the sounds of that?
I like meat. I like pizza.
You want to eat?
Sounds like a marriage made in heaven.
This ball hit well. High and deep to right field. Calhoun is back. It's gone! Number 32 for Joey Gallo. And you might as well settle in, folks. Looks like we're in for some fireworks tonight. It's 6-3.
Perhaps what is most amazing about that home run that Joey Gallo hit, it was a nice high home run that we see so often from Joey. Didn't sound that great off the bat. I don't know if he squared this up. He might have caught it off the end. It's a changeup. It's pretty well located. Yeah, Joey didn't indeed catch it off. He broke his bat. That's what I thought. His bat broke, splintered at the handle, and it got out of here. Now, it didn't break in half, but that is why you do curls at the gym. In case you catch a changeup off the end of the bat, you can still do this. Right? Check this out right there. Where is it? There we go. Oh, what am I doing here? Hold on. Nobody move. Right there. There it is. There it is. Dang it.
Wow.
Well, there's so many options here on this telestrator. And I accidentally clicked on the curve solid instead of the circle wheel. You get the freehand solid, the polygon, the circling number, the arrow. Lots of options on our telestrator. And, you know, some guys are clutch in big spots. Some guys are not.
Wasn't a big spot. You're fine.
I mean, I noticed it at least. I thought I heard it, and we had...
Yeah, you could hear it. You could definitely hear it. How about that 21 home runs now at home? Ties J.D. Martinez for the Major League lead in home runs.
We joke about it, but it really does speak to the strength of Joey Gallo. It was a good changeup. Pretty well located, 83 miles an hour. He was out front of it, the fact that he cut it off the end of the bat.
Foul ball.
And he's still able to literally muscle that ball out of here.
The last couple of home runs he's hit in this ballpark have been impressive for a variety of reasons. The pitch that almost hit him on the last homestand. But yeah, listen to you can hear the bat break here.
You guys will joke around, but so often when that happens, and one died a hero.
Indeed.
I'm sure he's done that before. I can't think any off the top of my head, but that's a fun bat to save. Kind of put in a little glass case if collecting kind of memorabilia from throughout your career. It's a cool one.
Chirinos, after a long enough wait, asked to reset. So the Rangers with a couple of home runs already off Cole, and that means activity in that Angels bullpen. And this one in the dirt. It's a full count, so we'll wait and see. I mean, you knew he was going to pitch at some point in this game. He pitches in every single one. Jose Alvarez, 61 appearances. All right, payoff pitch to Chirinos. Yeah, that's ball 4. Second walk he's allowed. Here comes Ronald Guzman. Now Arlo's whole team together. Look at these batting averages for Rangers hitters in the month of August. And this is a really clever way to tie us back into the story I started last inning. But a lot of good numbers up there on that leaderboard. A lot of guys right around 300 or better. And Nomar Mazara was mentioning last inning. He talked about it today. When we were in New York and the Rangers were just clicking and hitting bombs and having a good time. So, you know, it's probably tough for a guy like Nomar to watch from a distance.
Sure.
When hitting's contagious and you feel like, man, it legitimately is. I wish I was in there having some of that fun. And today he said it was kind of hard to watch. The guys were swinging, circling the bases. And he's like, man, I just want to slide right in the middle of that lineup and take my hat.
There is no player in the big leagues that likes being on the DL. And when your team is going well and they're swinging it and you're an offensive player and you're hurt, it crushes you. Because you want to be part of the party. You want to contribute. You want to be involved in those fun nights. And even when your team's struggling, it's the same thing. Because then you feel like, man, I've got to be there helping these guys. And instead I'm doing rehab, going on a rehab assignment, whatever it may be. Good teammates always want to be with their guys. And Nomar very quickly joined the party his first day off the DL.
Chirinos aboard, nobody out in a 3-run game. Guzman, meanwhile, 1-1 the count. Looks ahead 2-1, and he's had some good success against right-handed pitchers. How about this last 8 games? A 900 slugging off righties.
Yeah, that's not OPS. That's slugging.
Three and 1. And he could tee off here if he wants.
I mean, just to kind of put that in perspective, the league overall this year is slugging .410. Slugging .900 against those righties lately.
13 homers for the rookie, and the 3-1 pitch. He is swinging and fouls it away. Now the payoff. Ooh, inside ball 4, back-to-back walks. Well, Mike Scioscia, well, he has seen enough. And he wanted a lot more out of his spot starter tonight than he just got. 1 inning out of Cole, and already the Angels into that bullpen. So here we go, a 6-3 ball game. We'll bring that new reliever in a moment.
Rangers have been going outside the box this summer. We had our analytics theme night, we had our charity night, we had the very famous behind the lens night. Well, that's going to keep going, and what this has been about, it's been an opportunity for Ranger fans to find out what's going on behind the scenes. Well, next up, our outside the box series is focused on the Rangers front office, so we'll give you a little bit of an idea what their days are like, what their responsibilities are like. That's going to be on August 28th, and then on September 18th, we're going to do a Little League night. Really kind of talk to the guys about their Little League experiences, amateur baseball. I think you guys are really going to enjoy these last two outside the box nights coming up pretty soon on Fox Sports Southwest.
Well, our who's in, who's out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. We'll get to that in just a moment. Delano to Shields steps in here, and he shows bunt, pushes it first base side. Jose Alvarez with a bare hand, and the throw in time. They get Delano, but the sacrifice moves both runners up. 1-3 put out. Well, there's the man who's out. Taylor Cole could go just 1+ inning. And the man who is in, Jose Alvarez, his 62nd appearance of the year.
Yeah, he's been in there a few times. We showed it earlier as far as the ranks, and a lot of these Angels pitchers who've gotten a lot of work so far this season. Alvarez, a guy who has actually been very good against both lefties and righties, so they don't just look at him as a guy that's a lefty specialist necessarily. 222 against lefties, 238 against righties.
That one just off the plate. Now our Kubota power stats are really about this entire bullpen. 435 appearances now, and that is tied for most in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers began play today with 435 relief appearances as well. This ball fouled off. 1-1.
Show those overall numbers for Alvarez this year. You mentioned game number 62 for him. 15 to third innings. Pretty good strikeout to walk ratio. The overall batting average is pretty good. He's been very good with inherited runners. It is now, it'll be 45 with the two that he's inherited tonight. But so far, only 6 of those have scored. That's good for a 14% rate. League average usually around 33, 34.
Ball and 2 strikes on Chu, who grounded out of the first inning. 6-3 ball game, but we are just underway, only in the bottom of the second inning. Bouncer right back to the mound, and nicely done by Alvarez. 2 away.
So I mentioned those inherited runners for Alvarez, the great job that he has done this season. Well, he's not the only one in this Angels bullpen. Nearly 79% of the runners that they have inherited, they have stranded this year. That leads all the American League. And so the Angels have been busy with some inherited runners this year. And obviously when you have that many pitching changes, there's going to be a lot of inherited runners, but they've been excellent in those spots.
Well, he's trying to strand a couple here. Odor at the plate with 2 out. And he takes a strike. And these are a couple of big runs. I mean, if Rugi could somehow find a little pay dirt out in the outfield there, get 2 runs home, my goodness. A 1-run game. You know, this is after we started the game. The first 5 Angels that came to the plate singled. And then after an out, Arcia with a 2-run double. And it looked like, oh boy, we're in for a long evening. 0-2. This is a Rangers offense that can be very dangerous. So already into the bullpen. Trinos and Guzman off the bases, and that one is down low.
So there have been some red hot hitters since the All-Star break, and Ruben Odor is right there with them. That OPS of just over 1,100 since the All-Star break. Well, that puts him 5th in Major League Baseball. Matt Carpenter's been on a pretty unbelievable tear. Acuña's been on a pretty unbelievable tear. JD Martinez has pretty much been doing it all season long, but it's been a good run lately for Ruben Odor.
2-2. Oh, Alvarez goes begging.
He wanted it. That one was pretty close. This is a good pitch. It jumped on Rugi a little bit quickly. Now, there's a lot of movement there. On its own, that pitch might have been a strike. But for me, with Arcia, he would have been better off sticking that pitch and trying to hold it there as opposed to moving the glove as much as he did. There was a lot of movement. They're going back and forth right now and talking about it. But I'd put that on Arcia more than I would our home plate umpire tonight. Vic Carpazza.
2-2. And it's a full count.
See the body language there from Arcia? He's frustrated because he felt like Alvarez threw a strike to pitch before that. And so now all of a sudden it's 3-2. He knows how red hot Ruben Odor has been. He knows the kind of damage he can do. And he knows that he's been pretty good against lefties this year. 269 coming into this one. And so he's frustrated that he's now forced to throw a 3-2 pitch. Or at least have his pitcher throw a 3-2 pitch to Rugi.
And strike 3 call. Boy, right on the bottom of the zone. And now it is Odor chirping at Carapazza.
Some frustration there for Rugi, but not for Joey Gallo this inning, who hits this very impressive home run on a changeup. He broke his bat. It didn't matter. Out of the ballpark for Joey.
Inning. Time now for our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. And yeah, when that guy comes to the plate, there's any number of directions you could go. But how about career home runs? 632 for Pujols. Has him 6th all time. Bonds, Aaron, Ruth, A-Rod, and Willie Mays.
That is really amazing to look at. We've been blessed to be able to follow Adrian Beltre's career and see all the great names that he has passed along the way. The question becomes is how far can he go? Is it 3 years left on that contract?
I think so, yeah. He's 38 years old. Clearly, you know, slowing down physically. The knees, ankles, feet, whatever, all of it has really slowed him down.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. No, that's not.
Yeah, that's right. But even still, man, I mean, he's amazingly productive. 2-1.
Love to see him get to 700 just to see that number. Would be good for Albert Pujols.
Two-one pitch. And it's ball 3. I mentioned earlier, great numbers in this ballpark over the years. So for better or for worse, Rangers fans have had an opportunity to see one of the greats perform. And this one popped up first base side. One away. All right, let's see if we can find Emily Jones.
Yeah, progressive fan of the game time. It's a couple. It's Pat and Gwen Ray, and they have really cute matching shirts. Turn around. Retired. Oh, there we go. Retired together 2018. That alone is enough, but Gwen, I understand you recently became a cancer survivor. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
So They got tickets to the game for their retirement present and celebrating also you beating cancer. So congratulations, and this is well deserved. Thank y'all, guys.
Yeah, that is awesome. Congratulations.
Happy retirement.
That is a great shirt. I could see you and I getting a couple of those.
Yeah, I could see that too. Ground ball shortstop. Andrus throws out Simmons. 2 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan.
The catcher, Francisco Garcia.
Ooh.
Those are always fun, right? First game, 24 runs. I saw.
This ball hit well out to right field, but Mazara in stride pulls it in.
You're going to have to wait to see what I saw.
Yeah, you're just going to have to save that one for us as well. To the bottom of the third, 6-3.
By a score of 6-3. So John Radigan filled you in on that score right there, 24-4. The New York Mets over the Philadelphia Phillies. This was pretty fascinating to me. I know you're going to find it really fascinating, Dave. So the Mets scored that franchise record, 24 runs. They are the first team to score 24 or more runs in a game and allow 24 or more runs in a game in the same season since 1894. That in itself is pretty fascinating, except that in 1894, 4 teams did that.
Whoa.
4 teams let up 24 or more runs and scored 24 or more runs in the same season.
Man.
I don't know what was going on in 1894, but
not a whole lot of pitching or defense.
I guess not.
Perez, the new pitcher for the Angels. Williams Perez, left-hander, 26 years old, just his 5th appearance. 5 scoreless innings under his belt. And he is the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Angels. And Elvis Andrus takes low.
Not something you see very often. Obviously an unusual night here for the Angels, where they're essentially throwing a bullpen game. They had one of their relievers start. They have 9 more relievers available in the bullpen. But how often do you see back-to-back lefties? Kind of interesting. Alvarez came in and got his 3 outs. He came in and inherited a couple of runners, first and second, nobody out. Mike Sosa went to him in a jam. That's kind of an interesting spot, right? Went to one of his go-to guys. Guy who's pitched in now 62 games, used him in the 2nd inning.
Oh, this ball lashed out to left field, and it locks up Upton. And so Andrus aboard. Boy, that's funny, because we had the hard grounder earlier that kind of tied up Elvis, and he returns the favor on a line drive right at Upton.
Well, he smoked this baseball, and Justin Upton looked like he had a read on it, and he's watching this thing, and then it just a little bit of a late movement there, or didn't track it the way that he thought he did. And this is well hit by Elvis. I gotta believe they're probably going down as an error, and it is.
So, man on to start this third inning. Yeah, this one, we're talking about a 24-run game in New York. Who knows what we're in for here?
Take a look at the StatCast AI, which is powered by AWS. Will show us this Nomar Mazara home run. He went down and got that pitch, and he hit it better than 104 miles per hour and a projected distance of 406 feet. Welcome back, Nomar Mazara.
One ball, one strike.
Upton's kind of lucky he even got a glove on that. I mean, I don't know if it knuckled on him a little bit, but it would have stung if he didn't get some glove to slow that thing down.
Jerez to the plate, and that one is outside. 2-1. Williams Jerez, formerly a Boston Red Sox, born and raised. In fact, makes his offseason home in the Dominican Republic at Santiago. He was second round pick in 2011. What sense that makes.
Oh, went to high school in Brooklyn. So even though he was born in the DR,
yeah,
probably came to the States.
Okay.
Went to high school there, and then was draft eligible, as you mentioned, second round 2011.
Where did you get that?
You know, it happens sometimes. We see it both ways.
No, yeah.
Right? You see where guys that are in high school might move to the Dominican if they're Dominican, have family there, and then they would fall under different rules as far as, you know, how you get into professional baseball. You don't have to obviously be drafted, but then there's international signing, or, you know, the signing rules that teams have to abide by, the bonus restrictions.
Number found. Where did you get the high school information?
On baseballreference.com.
Oh, you and your fancy computers.
Grand Street Campus High School in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
They didn't have in your baseball encyclopedia you're flipping through over there?
No, they didn't. You know, looking at the print date, I see it's copyrighted a couple years ago, so it might need updating. Actually, I'm looking in the Red Sox guide.
Who was the pitcher from? Was it Reyes from the Cardinals? Did he do that?
This ball well hit again. Mazara out to center field, but to the deep part of the park. And Young hauls it in. Boy, that was really well struck.
Well, Nomar Mazara is obviously locked in and feeling good. A couple of really good at-bats here, even though this turned into an out. He gets a pitch that is hung up in the zone. Drilled it to center field. Unfortunately, didn't quite get enough of it, but he hit a ball better than 100 miles an hour. Nomar hit that 101 miles an hour. You feel pretty good about what you did. I mean, you'll take hits any way you can get them, but the quality of that at-bat was a good one for Nomar. That's 2 in a row. Yeah, Alex Reyes, right? Born in New Jersey, went to high school in New Jersey, but prior to being draft eligible, went down and lived in the Dominican and signed as a free agent with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Didn't that little leaguer do it too? The guy who was controversial, what, about 5-10 years ago?
With the, well, he was older.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny Almonte.
Yep.
He did one of the two, right?
Pitching at 15 and
on a 12-year-old team.
Just smoking those 12-year-olds left and right.
He was good. Oh, pickoff. And they have Andrus hung up. Simmons will put the tag on him for out number 2. All right, we'll take a moment now and hear from the good folks over at Kia.
When you're America's Best Value, you don't need fancy uniforms. How'd you know it was clip-on?
All right, 2 away. We count 1-0 on Jurickson Profar. Jerez is actually began his career as an outfielder in the Red Sox system. Eventually, they turned him into a pitcher, obviously. And this one gets away, 2-0. This year, had spent most of the season at AAA Pawtucket. Played in 34 games there. Traded to the Angels, appeared in 2 games with their AAA club in Salt Lake. And he was striking out a lot of dudes in the International League this year when he was with Pawtucket. He was averaging almost 12 strikeouts per 9.
You could see why. It's a big fastball. 95, 96 miles an hour. It's got some pretty good life on it as well. And you get that kind of heater from a left-hander, you're absolutely going to blow up some guys at AAA, and now trying to get it done at the big league level.
The base is empty here for Profar. 3-1 from Jerez, and this one up the middle. That is a base hit. That's a couple of kangaroo hops. Wasn't real sure whether that one was going to make it through or not, but a base runner on here with the 3rd inning. And so here comes Joey Gallo, our TXU Energy power player to watch. Why not? After the home run he hit in the 2nd inning. How about this? 33 batted balls this year, in excess of 110 miles per hour exit velocity. And that is more than 10 other entire teams this year.
When Joey Gallo squares one up, I mean, he hits it as hard as anybody. Obviously, you see it there, the damage that he has done.
Now first pitch to Gallo, and he'll pop it foul out of play.
And he doesn't always have to hit it 100+ miles an hour. This one was a changeup that he cut off the end of the bat. He hit it 93 miles an hour, but it was the strength that got it out of here. He actually broke his bat. Didn't break it in half, but he splintered it. That is no longer available to Joey Gallo. I know you're going to love this. So he hit it 93 miles an hour, and the apex was also 93 feet.
And there's some symmetry.
That's probably the first time in StatCast history. Maybe. Look in your encyclopedia.
Yeah, let me see what I can come up with on that. 1-1.
The crazy thing is, if I did care about that, I could probably search it.
You could definitely figure that out. Can't for the life of me understand why one would, but
I waste a lot of time doing stuff I don't need to be doing, but I'm not going to waste that time.
So you were telling the story earlier about the 24 runs allowed, 24 runs scored. Back was it 1894?
Yeah.
So I was speaking of wasting time looking things up. League average that year was 309. The league ERA?
Yeah.
738.
Oh my.
Yeah. So
they didn't test those days, did they?
They did not.
No PED system in place in 1894. I wonder if that was any of the years that they had any major rule changes, right? As far as, was it still right? Because we went from, like, you could catch a ball in one hop and it was an out, right? 5 balls to walk, all that nonsense. I wonder if there was any changes during that time, because something must have been going on. New ball, they didn't tell anybody. Literally just one new ball.
Yeah.
Maybe expansion. Who knows? Actually, I know who knows. John Thorne knows.
John Thorne knows. Strike 3 called. Boy, Gallo. It's a tough pitch, but he takes strike 3. Inning over. Rangers leave a man. We played 3. It's a 6-3 score. It's light, done right. How about the lighting tonight? Beautiful sky here in Arlington as we go to the 4th inning. There's that prop that we occasionally put out there in the summer nights, the moon.
Cheese circle. Oh.
Yeah. I don't know what the other half of it is, but 4th inning. And
meat pizza.
Taylor Ward leading off, and Jurado pumps one right in there for a strike. So Ariel Jurado, very tough 1st inning, but has come back now and settled in a little bit. He's retired 6 in a row. And he gets ahead 0-2 on Ward.
So remember, I talked about how important it is right now as the Rangers evaluate what they have, and a guy like Jurado, a young pitcher, 22 years old, getting a look, and there's still an opportunity to at least find some positives in this outing. It was a really rough 1st inning, let up those 5 runs, and then the leadoff home run to start the 2nd. But as you mentioned, now it's been 6 in a row, and if you can somehow find a way, give the Rangers, I mean, it's only 54 pitches, a couple of more innings, and keep that damage at 6. Well, ending on a good note is something that your coaching staff, your front office will remember. That'd be kind of ideal for him right now.
Two. And it's just outside. So now it's 8 of his last 9 batters that he is retired. And it started with Ward, who brought on a run with his ground out to short. And he takes just off the plate. Ball 4. Well, the Angels and Rangers, it's a 4-game series. And Saturday night, it's a 7:05 game. The first 15,000 fans to the ballpark will take home the first ever Nomar Mazara bobblehead, courtesy of Coca-Cola and Walmart. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS.
So now for Jurado, you mentioned, was 8 out of 9, now 8 out of 10. But get that ground ball, find a way to maybe get that double play, although EY Jr. a little bit tough to double up. That would have helped. But here's how you look at these kind of outings. If somehow, again, it's only the 4th inning, but if you can put together a couple of zeros, potentially, then what you can do is you can really isolate the 1st inning only. Right? And then you can sit down, you can dig in with him and say, okay, what happened in this 1st inning as you review your game with your pitching coaches and kind of go over it, as opposed to, you know, when you lay an egg and just have a bad one, sometimes you just chalk it up and say, all right, never mind, forget it. But some good things have happened over these last couple of innings.
A little flare, and that one drops into left field. Base hit for Eric Young. It's a tough break. I feel like you, in some ways, won that confrontation. He did not hit it hard, but just enough to get it over the infield, and just short enough that nobody in the outfield could get to it.
And part of Jurado's success will be dependent on his ability to keep the ball on the ground, right? Because he throws so many sinkers. A very nice ground ball rate coming into this game at 56%. League average has been 43-44 this year, so well above league average. But it's only been a couple of groundouts today. A couple of strikeouts in there as well, but there have been more line drives, even the soft line drives. And so that'll be part of the conversation as he goes over this game and wondering, you know, what was I doing that was resulting in less ground balls than I usually get.
Fouled away.
How many times, I know you've heard this a bunch with sinker ball pitchers, that sometimes they're better when they're tired, right? You get a little bit more sink on that ball. As a sinker ball pitcher, if you're feeling too good and you're feeling too live, a lot of times you end up losing that really good sink. Now, no doubt, even though it's been 60 pitches, Jurado's been working pretty hard. He's probably feeling a little bit of fatigue right now. This is another, like, you know, inside this game little test for him. As you're feeling that fatigue, still trusting that sinker, not trying to overthrow it, and maybe let some of that fatigue work to your advantage.
1-1. He's had a little trouble with Calhoun tonight. Calhoun with a base hit, the home run. He has scored 2. A lot of times we talk about, you know, sinker ballers too, you know, try and get that ground ball for the double play. I mean, they're 2 men on. He could just go ahead and shoot for the triple play, but that's not going to help. Out into center field. Well, runners don't advance.
I don't think Ward knew where the ball was. Take a look at this replay here on this pickoff. Look like when he pulled that a little bit. I thought it was a good throw at first, but that was almost like a cutter. Elvis Andrus can do a lot of things, but he's not a catcher. You try to get that cutter while also trying to avoid the runner. Watch this ball kind of cut away from Elvis. But Ward didn't know where it was. Young did, though. He was almost to second base.
Yeah. Yeah, but you saw in that last slow-mo, you saw Elvis apply a phantom tag on Ward too, and that might have been just enough to confuse him.
Love to see a good two-seam fastball located down and away. Try to get that ground ball. You're sitting in a fastball count. You can count on potentially a big swing here from Calhoun.
And ground ball right side, and that one is through. Odor couldn't quite get to it, but they will hold the runners, and they are loaded. Boy, off the bat when that one snuck through, I figured Ward was going to score, but they go station to station again. Doug Rocaille checking in on that bullpen.
Take a look here at this pitch. It is the two-seam fastball. They actually tried to go front door, so not down and away, and this was a pretty good one. He got the ball on the ground the way that he wanted to. But Calhoun has been so locked in. He hit this ball pretty hard to the right side and out of the reach of Rougned Odor. The second time we've seen a base hit with runners at first and second where bases were only loaded after the fact.
So maybe a break. We'll see if Jurado can take advantage of it. Matt Moore continuing to prepare in the bullpen.
Matt Moore was up, what, in the first inning, right?
Yeah.
It's difficult to do.
Ground ball third. Profar will tag out the runner. Throw back to second. And now they've got a chance for the triple play. Well, they tagged out the runner Calhoun. And that's a triple play. Well, I mentioned earlier, you might want to try and dial it up. That's an unusual one. But they get it. The tag out of Ward, the force out of Young, the tag out of Calhoun. No big deal.
So let's take a look at the replay here as the umpires are behind the pitcher's mound right now trying to figure this out. Let's see what happens here. This ball hits the ground, right? So it's caught. So what happens first? Does he step on the bag or does he tag the runner? So because he stepped on the bag, that runner's out, but that was his mistake. Ward should have stayed on third base because that was his base at that point. So this is going to be ruled a triple play. That is his mistake for not staying on the bag. Had he stayed on the bag, then there would have been an opportunity here. And that's why it's a triple play and a good heads-up play by Rougned Odor. By Jurickson Profar. Great job. finish. And Coors Light is refreshing, but triple plays when you got the bases loaded, nobody out. Well, that is even more refreshing. Great job by Jurickson Profar, a heads-up play, and interesting to see him put his hands up there. So you go 3 unassisted, 3 to 4, or excuse me, 5 unassisted, 5 to 4 for the triple play. Now, I say it was a heads-up play, and it was, but the reality is, and it's so hard in these situations to really think what you're supposed to be doing. In a perfect world, Rugen Odor actually would have tagged the runner first, then stepped on the bag. Because if the runner stayed on third base, he would have been safe.
Profar.
I'm sorry, Profar. The reason that the runner was out at third is because he stepped off the base. Once Profar stepped on third, the third base bag then belonged to Ward, and he could have stayed there. But he panicked, he got off the bag, and that's when Profar was able to tag him. But when he threw that ball to Odor, did you see when he put his hands up? I don't know if he was asking for the ball because that runner's out. Like at that point, Young is already out.
Correct.
Because he stepped on the back. So I don't know if he was telling him, like, don't throw it to me. Get the other guy out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, might well have been.
Triple plays cause all kinds of confusion, but the umpires got it right, the Rangers got it right, and what a huge break for Jurado.
Chirinos now takes high for a ball, bottom third of the order here. And meanwhile, the Angels going a little bit deeper. Noe Ramirez making his 56th appearance. And he is the 4th pitcher of the night. Two 2-0.
All right, so we talked about scoring the other night on our Behind the Lens. How do you put that one in your book?
I have that a 5 unassisted to 4 triple play.
But you in that way you only record 2 outs, right?
No.
Is it not 5 unassisted, 5 unassisted, 5-4? 5U, 5U, 5-4?
Well, I mean, you can
5U squared.
I mean, you could put 2 5Us there if you wanted.
Yeah,
I suppose. But for me, it's just a 5U to 4 in my book.
Yeah.
And I put, you know, I mark each box with what happened to that guy.
Oh wow, such detail.
Well, you do too.
Yeah, mine. But
it's a fielder's choice.
That's the best part, right? How many times do you think we've seen a fielder's choice turned into a triple play?
Yeah, not too often.
Because the batter is usually almost always retired on a triple play.
Ground ball to short. Simmons throws out Chirinos.
Come on, let's do it again because this was so fun. Watch Jurickson Profar. First of all, make a really nice play. That's probably one of the things that's lost in all of this. That's a tremendous play just to get to that ball. Steps on the bag. But watch, here's the mistake that Ward made. He was slipping a little bit, but he was trying to avoid the tag. And now you're out. Had you stayed on the bag, you would have been safe. Good job by Profar.
That was the second 5U, right?
That's right. That's how we got squared.
And now the 4. Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I enjoyed that.
Although as I looked at that last time there for the 5th, 6th time now. where did the ball bounce? Or did it?
Oh, he bounced for sure. You talking about Profar?
Right before his glove?
Oh yeah, he's sure. He definitely picked that. Right, watch it right here. You're going to see that ball bounced. Get you your glasses, old timer.
Okay. About 1.5 foot or so in front of the glove.
It's a great job. And you see that little hop right there? That's why the hop's so important when you're playing the infield. Make sure. Now Ward also kind of slipped too, I think, and he, like most, panicked in that situation. Wasn't exactly sure what he wanted to do. That's great.
You saw, I mean, it's just the 6th triple play in franchise history. You got to go back to 2009, the last time the Rangers turned one of those.
I'm most curious. See, they have that in your encyclopedia. How many triple plays have been a fielder's choice? I mean, that batter is almost always retired. The most common one, right, is the line out. First and second, the runners take off, and there's like a line out to the second baseman, and he's able to step on the bag or whatever it may be.
Gallo sends this one out to right field. Chases Calhoun back a few steps. 2 away. Good job by Guzman to make sure he got back.
I told you that story. I had 1 triple play in the minor leagues. First and second. And there's a bunt back to me in the mound, and it was high. And I saw in the corner of my eye that the batter didn't run. So So I let it drop, threw it to second base. All the runners stayed, threw it to second base. But just like we showed you with Profar, right? What you're supposed to do, and it worked out because word came off the back, is tag the runner first. If everybody stays, tag the runner first, then step on the back. Because once you step on the back, then that runner is actually safe. No doubt in my mind that my second baseman stepped on the back first and then tagged the runner, but there was no instant replay in the minor leagues in 1994.
I would say that's probably my favorite triple play, is the drop bunt.
Yeah. Yep.
Popped up bunt. I do like that.
Terry Francona was the opposing manager for the Birmingham Barons at the time. None too pleased.
One and one on Chu. Yeah, it seems like one of the cheapest ways in a weird way, but what I think I like about it is that it rewards that alertness on the part of a pitcher or whomever to feign like they're going to catch it and then let it drop.
Oh, and also exposes the guy for not running. Run every ball out. You pop a bunt back up to a pitcher, run.
One and two. Chu today is grounded out to second, bounced back to the mound. Just did hold off. Well, strike three called, and Chu having a tough night at the plate tonight. And that ends the inning. Well, one of those sad bits of news to pass on today. The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, 76 years old, passed away today. One of the iconic greats. (6-3). And the Angels, Upton, Ohtani, Pujols in this fifth. And Jurado, and here he is now. The pitch count just in the mid-60s. Got that triple play last inning. That certainly helps a guy's outing. And he finds the strike zone. It's 1-1.
You almost have to make that a momentum changer, right? You caught a big break, find a way. Your third baseman, Jurickson Profar, helped you out in a big way. Find a way to get to zero.
Ground ball, third base. Profar already had a good night. And he throws out Upton, one away. All right, let's take a moment here to hear from our friends at Southwest Kia.
Purchase a brand new Kia Sorento for less than $20,000. Monthly payments, $250 a month. Find your Kia Sorento at Southwest Kia.
Well, one away for Shohei Ohtani. Well, a weird night tonight. The Angels scoring those 5 runs in the first inning. Ohtani takes on the inside corner. Jurado navigating that bridge over troubled water there in the first inning, and then gave up the home run to Calhoun in the second. 1-1 to count. He's allowed a hit to Ohtani. There's only one Angel who has not yet reached base tonight. And a ground ball, second base, backhand pick by Odor, and he'll throw out Ohtani 2 away.
Well, this is the Ariel Jurado who we expect to see. And that ground ball that got that triple play started was hit pretty hard, but nevertheless, it's a ground ball. But these last 2, good ground balls, good defense. He is a guy that really does engage his defense. You're not going to get a ton of swing and miss. He had those back-to-back strikeouts of Upton and Ohtani in the second inning, but the strikeout rate has been just 4.7 so far this year, early in his career. But you're going to see a huge jump in that.
Fly ball, center field to Shields right there. Tucks it away. A 7-pitch 5th inning for Jurado. So he has settled in nicely. Halfway there tonight. Angels still lead by 3.
Well, tomorrow on Fox, the Big 3 playoffs are live from Dallas. Catch Baron Davis, Nate Robertson, and other NBA stars as they hit the hardwood with a trip to the championship on the line. It all begins at 7 on Fox, or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Don't miss the Big 3 championship on Friday. That's going to be August 24th. Have you seen any of that? You watch any of it?
I have not seen any.
A little bit here and there. It's pretty cool. You have, yes, former NBA stars. You have NBA stars that look like some of your other former stars in different sports. Let it go a little bit, but they can still hoop. That's pretty cool.
I think they take it pretty seriously.
Oh, no doubt.
They're playing hard. I mean, and they still have just incredible talent.
They got the 4-point shot, I think, in there. They have, I think it's a 4 and a 5, maybe. Small little circles that are pretty deep. It's cool. It's done well. It's a neat idea. I thought you and I maybe could enter a team in there.
Listen.
Steve said he's got some free time.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the 3 of us taking it old school? Short shorts, high socks, Converse. Minimum 5 passes before anybody's allowed to shoot.
Oh.
That would be the way we would do it.
You think?
We'd run those guys in circles trying to steal our passes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Chest pass, bounce pass. Chest pass, bounce pass, layup. Wait, what just happened?
Where did they go? 0-2. Little tapper up the middle. Slowly hit, but Simmons so good. And he just does get Odor. Wow. 1 away. Time for a Chevy game break. Another guy who's going to hoop just a little bit. Let's check in with John Radigan. Well, thanks, John. Well, John would be first off the bench for us.
Yeah, it's probably the right way to do it.
Andrus has walked and scored a run. He reached on an error. And he takes a strike here.
See Pudge running the point once in a while, in between making pizzas.
This one up and away to the right side, out of play. 0-2 the count.
So interesting trend here with Elvis Andrus lately. You talk about how he's very good at getting to velocities. Well, that's because he's got a quick bat. And you see what he's done over his last 21 games. He is hitting 500 on inside pitches. So if I were Ramirez, I wouldn't be going in here.
Ooh. I don't think he meant to go up there either, but he strikes out Andrus. 2 away. Well, country music artist Casey Donahue will perform a post-game concert on Saturday presented by Budweiser. You see the Angels and Rangers 7:05 game, and then the concert afterward. Go to texasrangers.com/concerts for game tickets and information on how you can see Casey Donahue from the field. Two away, here is Mazara. He is homered, and then he hit a 400-foot fly ball in the third, or nearly 400 feet. A backdoor breaking ball from Noe Ramirez is in there for a strike. So 2 really good swings so far for Mazara. Just back off the disabled list tonight. One and one. Mazara on his rehab assignment. Hit 300. 6 games on rehab. Went 6 for 20. Chases that one. It's strike 2. Right before he got hurt, he was swinging the bat pretty well. In fact, a stretch of nearly a month was hitting 305. Average had jumped up about 12 points during that stretch. Reaches out, taps this one over the mound. Ramirez couldn't get there. Andrelton Simmons charging, and he makes the play to first. And 2 nice plays in the inning by the Gold Glove shortstop. Rangers go in order. We go to the 6th. It's still 6-3. Southwest for a gridiron celebration with Texas Football Days presented by Jack in the Box beginning August 26th. Watch classic high school football games daily, leading up to a live doubleheader of high school football to kick off the season. And then, of course, college football across the Fox family of networks. Go to foxsportssouthwest.com for details. All right, 6th inning, and Andrelton Simmons takes a strike. I got to tell you, this game has taken me to a place I was definitely not expecting tonight.
Yeah, you were thinking 24-4?
Well,
or just high-scoring affair back and forth?
A little bit of that,
yeah.
But, you know, it's funny, after the first inning, we were talking about, wow, well, could Taylor Cole get in 5 innings and maybe qualify for a win?
Negative.
Would Jurado be able to bounce back? Jurado, this is his 75th pitch. And a high pop-up back of short. It results in the first out of the 6th inning. So now we're looking at a night where he may go pretty deep after that 5-run first inning. It just needs his offense to come up with something.
Well, the one thing I had said at the time, I said, well, at least, you know, it was only 23 pitches in that first inning. And that's not an easy thing to do, to have those 5 base hits in a row, 6 total in the inning, 5 innings, and or should be 5 runs, and facing 9 hitters. It's not even 3 pitches per batter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, his pitches per plate appearance were under 3 for that entire inning, even though he saw 9 hitters. And so it was encouraging. So, okay, if you can get it figured out, you know, this is not going to be a 2-inning night for him. The triple play was huge. I mean, that was obviously, it always is in that spot. It bought him some more time, and he took advantage of it last inning, and we'll see if he can take advantage of it now this inning.
You look at his pitches by inning so far tonight. There's that first inning you're talking about. But even the second inning, 19 pitches, you know, you're thinking, well, okay. Chopper toward third. Profar handles it and throws out Arcia.
So as you watch him and you evaluate, people love to do this at home and say, you know, what do the Rangers have? Young pitchers. And you watch Jurado, understand this is what he's capable of doing when he's on, is having quick innings, and because he's a guy that people are going to come swinging against, because he's going to throw strikes and he's not going to get a ton of swing and misses. So he's generally not going to get very deep in counts. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen relatively fast, unless he just doesn't have command and he starts walking guys.
Meanwhile, the less interesting game in the bullpen, Moore is 5 innings into his no-hitter.
It's a nightmare. It's the most difficult job in baseball, and Matt Moore understands that, and you deal with it and you do the best that you can. But he got up at, I don't know, what, 7:15 this afternoon or earlier this evening?
Yeah, he's thrown 120 pitches.
Yeah, it's an hour and a half ago. And so the adrenaline has been up. So this is at least the 3rd time that he has been up. It's really, really difficult to do that as a pitcher. And especially for a guy like Matt Moore, who hasn't been a reliever for very long at all in his career. He's been pretty much only a starter. And this is the most difficult thing. Any starter will tell you that. You go in the bullpen, and it's part of it. It just comes with the territory. Warm up, don't go in the game. It's tough.
Is it possible that there's 0 chance of him getting in the game at this point, but he's just throwing to stretch him out and maybe anticipation of eventually rejoining the rotation? I mean, what's the point if he's the long guy and you're now 2 outs in the 6th inning? Well, it's not like you would necessarily want or need him to throw multiple innings, would you?
The only way that, well, 2 things for me. And that's a possibility. That's one. The other one is they called down and said, if we get this far, you have, and then they'll tell you the hitter. It could be Young, it could be Calhoun. Because remember, the Rangers are still in this game, so they're still going to play matchups.
Meanwhile, Jurado just keeps dealing, and it's another 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Rangers need to get it going offensively, and they'll send Joey Gallo to lead things off. by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today. All right. I have to apologize.
What'd you do?
Well, I mean, we're showing Joey Gallo going out to break, and I thought, oh, must be leading off. He's not leading off at all. Jurickson Profar is leading off. Profar to start things off, then Gallo and Chirinos. Against Jim Johnson, it's the pitcher of the inning for the Angels. They continue to work through their pen.
See the numbers there for Johnson. Game number 47. First Angel reliever to come into this game whose last name does not end in Z. He had 3 Z's in a row. It's kind of exciting. Am I right?
That is?
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Suppose that's a record?
We could make it Johnson's. It's definitely a record. Not a record.
1-0. And Profar turns it foul.
We're talking about Jurado, single ball pitcher. That is exactly the kind of pitcher Jim Johnson has been over the course of his career. A guy that relies heavily on the 2-seam fastball. He used to see some higher velocities earlier in his career. That 2-seam fastball still sits, though, around 93 miles an hour. He also has a curveball and a changeup.
Profar got under this one. High in the air out to right field. Will it have enough? It does! A home run! Just enough to get into that front row. And it's his 14th home run of the year. And the game draws ever tighter. 6-4 the score.
What a night for Jurickson Profar. We're already in the 6th inning. Second hit of the night. Big home run, of course. Towering home run as he hits this one high into the sky. He squared it up. He hit it good. Just a question of whether or not it was going to continue to carry. The great defense that he is playing at third base. What a great night for Jurickson Profar. No.
Drop something. Off the plate, 2-0.
Gotta squeeze it.
Got a changeup. Johnson's 2-0 pitch. Ground ball. Slowly hit out there to second base, but handled cleanly by Fletcher, 1 away. So a 2-run game. Three Rangers home runs tonight. Over 1,000 feet worth of home runs. Chirinos lifts this one opposite way, but not going to carry deep enough for him. Calhoun, good outfielder, and makes the play. 2 gone. So it brings up Ronald Guzman. Well, the night started with Taylor Cole. Pitched the first inning and started the second inning before things got away from him. Jose Alvarez cleaned it up in that second. Williams, Jerez, Noe Ramirez then threw 2 innings, and now Jim Johnson. Angels were prepared for this tonight. They knew it was going to be a bullpen night for them. Johnson deals low. Let's see what sort of effects it has on the rest of the series. The fact that they had to use so many arms tonight. Strike there makes it 1-1.
So I mentioned they had 9, or do have 9 relievers down in that bullpen this evening. A couple of guys threw last night. Shows you all that usage this year by the bullpen, but maybe they're used to it at this point of the year.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Pretty comfy with it. All right, inning over after the ground out. Jurickson Profar, the leadoff home run. He's made it a 2-run game. Music group Mercy Me will perform a post-game concert Sunday afternoon presented by Buckner International. Angels and Rangers wrap up this 4-game series at 2 o'clock first pitch, and then the concert afterward. Go to texasrangers.com/concerts for game tickets and information on how you can see Mercy Me from the field. All right, Matt Moore is going to pitch in this game.
He is. He threw a lot down in that bullpen, but he comes out of the bullpen here for the Rangers, and you see his numbers on the season. But how about what he's done lately? Just a 188 opponents on base percentage over his last 3 games. He has been throwing the ball pretty well. The velocity has been good. The curveball has been good. Whenever we talk about Matt Moore, for me watching him, that curveball really is key, and it's been very good here as of late. But I mean, close to triple digits as far as how many throws he probably had down in that bullpen tonight.
He threw a lot.
We saw him up in the 6th inning. That was the 3rd time that he was up. That's a challenge, especially for a guy who's been a starter over the course of his career. There's a couple of different ways to look at it if you're Jeff Bannister. He's been up 3 times. You do what you got to do. You try to avoid it, but there's just times where you can't. And this is a good example of one of those nights where you really can't avoid getting the bullpen up as much as you did.
Bunt down the first base line, and Moore twists and just does throw that one beyond the reach of Guzman. He got a glove on it, but couldn't hold it. That's a tough play, and it'll be a base hit for Young.
Yeah, this was going to be really tough for Matt Moore, especially as a lefty, because you got to field it and you got to spin and get rid of it right away. And even a perfect throw was probably not going to get Eric Young Jr. in this spot. It's a really nice bunt. Really tough though by Matt Moore, but again, even if that throw's online, I don't think they have him. It'll be close. What I was going to say, if you're Jeff Bannister and you're in that spot, let's just say Matt Moore didn't go in the game, you go to somebody else in the 7th, you don't have Matt Moore tomorrow anyway. He threw so much in the bullpen, he has to be down the next day. And so I think Jeff Bannister very likely will say, I had him up, he threw enough, I wasn't going to have him on Friday anyway, why not go ahead and get him in the game and use him now while the team is still down. Had the Rangers taken the lead, probably might have been a different story here in the 7th inning, would be my guess.
The way Jurado was pitching, now 84 pitches. You've been tempted at all to maybe run him out for one more? Pushing that spot to second guess the skipper, but
yeah,
I just did.
No, I think it's a conversation worth having. I think they almost always are. And it's one of the most difficult things to do. And I think what is most important in that spot is that you let him end on a high note. So you look at the pitch counts, one thing, but how'd you get there? On the night when the first pitch was, we had 97-degree temperatures. Guy had a really rough first inning, bounced back very nicely. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have shocked me to see him come out after the 5th inning. So it's good. Yeah, we'll take 5 innings.
Bouncer first base. Guzman a second one. Elvis returns it quickly. Double play. Beauty.
Great defense here by the Rangers once again. This has been a staple for them, their ability to turn double plays. And to watch Ronald Guzman play, great defense. He made this look really easy. It's a nice pick. And once he got it clean and had his feet underneath him, this was a relatively easy turn for the Rangers, who just have become so good at this. But this is one of the things that I like when we watch Jeff Bannister and take a look at the double plays turned here in the American League. The Angels first, and there are the Rangers 3rd. But Bandy will push his pitchers a little bit. He'll give them some opportunities. And I think there was a lot of managers, and are a lot of managers, especially this day and age, that would have taken Ariel Jurado out of there after the 5th, if not earlier. But he likes what he sees. He gets that triple play, allows him to continue. And to go out there and get that 6th inning, I think is a big deal. Because when you go back and you evaluate this game with him, you can spend a lot of time just focusing on the 1st inning. And there's some great positives that came out of it for that young man. And you love that. So I like what he does with these pitchers. He gives them a chance to prove him wrong, essentially. But make it look like I made a mistake. That'll be on you for not getting it done. But you want that opportunity.
Fletcher chases strike 3. Boy, Matt Moore nicely done. An 8-pitch inning for him. But for that 1st inning, Rangers have looked great tonight. Tigers and Rangers. Little interleague play August 28th and 29th. Invite you to come out to the ballpark for this 2-game interleague series. Great seats still available. You can get your tickets today at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972 Rangers. Dodgers, by the way, game and a half out in the National League West. It'll be a huge series for them. All right, Ty Beltre. You know, and again, that could definitely be a butcher job on my part. It could be buttery. And I don't know which ones I like better.
It's definitely not buttery.
You don't think it's buttery?
No, there's no ER. It's buttery. You got it right.
I think it's definitely buttery. Anyway, Delino, oh, wow. Squared to bunt, and that one came right in. And I might have gotten a piece of his finger with the bat there. Yeah. Obviously, he's in pain.
I haven't seen a hit by pitch call yet, have you? And this one obviously hurt and got Delino really good. But it may have gotten both. Let's take a look here. You can see the reaction that Delino DeShields is in some serious pain right now. Take a look at that four-seam fastball grip. Delino. Oh, got both. And just got that, looked like that middle finger, possibly. Right on the tip.
I may have gotten several.
Yeah. Oh. Well, it's an interesting way. First pitch of your big league career. You hit Delino DeShields. He's pulling that glove off right now, taking a look at those fingers. Yeah, there's the tip of the middle finger. That is some tremendous camera work, by the way.
Goodness gracious, broke the skin even, huh?
Oh yeah, look at that. Just on that grip.
Beltre, he was part of the Kinsler trade with the Red Sox, came over from Boston, and as you mentioned, his big league debut here tonight. He's the 13th Angel this year to make his major league debut. That is a new franchise record.
He's looking a little buttery right now. A little hot, feels bad about hitting Delino DeShields, who appears to be coming out of this game.
Yeah, we've been tricked by this before, though, right? Didn't this happen with
right.
Profar? We thought he was coming out of the game, and they just went back, doctored him up, sent him right back out
booth.
there.
Out he came with his cape on. Turning triple plays. Watch right here. Delino goes to bunt, tries to pull back, and it's one of those deals where it catches your finger, but then also the bat at the same time. And I don't think they called this a hit by pitch. I think this is a strike.
That's a strike.
You see the finger right there. Jeff Bannister is out there having a conversation right now with Vic Arpaza. Yeah, you can hear the bat clear as day.
So Carlos Tocci coming up out of the dugout, and it looks like he will take over here. So that is unfortunate for Delino and for the Rangers. Tocci, meanwhile, will inherit an 0-1 count. Or William looking in there. Yeah, Tocci back in the dugout, so maybe Delino is going to come back out. I'll be darned.
Are we allowed to play the natural theme? I don't think we are.
Right.
Is that right? Oh, baby. Something special is about to happen.
Something special is happened just in that he is getting back up there to the plate.
That's what I mean.
Wow.
It's like a WWE match, right? Down, hold the hand up, one.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold his hand up, two. Third time it just stays there. The number one. Meanwhile, it's been, I don't know, about 8-9 minutes since his rookie's thrown a pitch. I mean, there's a lot going through this young man's mind. We're focused on Delino DeShields, of course, but remember, there's a rookie pitcher out there making his major league debut in the bottom of the 7th inning in the Texas Heat, up by 2 right now. That brings a ton of emotion.
Whoa.
And he's got a good arm. You see it there. 96 miles an hour. Did he throw in between it all?
No.
I don't think he did.
But thanks for like the Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan visual right there, by the way.
It's a nice breaking ball. You got 96 miles an hour, and then the ability to come back with a breaking ball with this kind of depth. 4 miles an hour slower. That's very nice.
Good to go. No. C.B. Buckner says, shoot, man, after taking one off the finger like that, I'm not calling him out on a check swing. I want to see how this thing ends. 2-2. So Beltre. And Delano stays alive. Mentioned that Beltre was called up today, recalled from AAA Salt Lake. Fired out of that Red Sox organization on July 30th, along with Williams Jerez, who we saw earlier tonight. And that just misses. Very close pitch. It's a full count.
This has been a guy that's really seen his career track kind of change over the last couple of years. He was pitching at the low level of the minor leagues as a starter. They put him in the bullpen full time in 2017. The ERA was still high, but he watched his strikeouts per nine absolutely jump.
Well, Tapper back to the mound. Beltre sets up, throws to first, and he just does get to line up. One away.
He was a guy that was striking out between 6, 7, 8, around that. It was kind of average year to year strikeout per nine rate. And then last season, 2017, again, first time he was a full-time reliever. All of a sudden, he was striking out 10 per nine. He struck out 10.8 per nine in the Arizona Fall League, just 8 1/3 innings, but he punched out 10. And then this year, in the minor leagues, 13.6 strikeouts per nine. Again, this is a guy who's like 6, 7, 8 one year to lower levels. He has made a monster jump. His career has taken a dramatic turn this year. And he's done it without really walking hitters either. So you can see why the Angels are excited about this arm, and for Mike Sosa to go ahead and put him in a pretty tight spot in his first big league game tells you about the confidence they may have.
This ball hit well out to left field and off the top of the fence. So Chu will scoot to second, and he has a one-out double in the 7th inning. And he just missed hitting that one out.
Yeah, he did. And we talk a lot about Shin-Soo Choo and his ability to drive the ball the other way. That opposite field OPS is something we've mentioned and shown you guys this year. Well, this is why. Watch Chu just stay on this ball and swat it to left field. This came pretty close. Watch where this thing hits on the wall. Yeah. 5 or 6 feet short of being a home run.
So an opportunity here for the Rangers to cut into that lead. 6-4 the score. So far tonight, 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. And Odor hitless in his 3 times to the plate. Up and away, ball 1. Now, we understand these to be Beltre's parents. Mom looking on. She had the camera going earlier on the phone.
Tell me, my wife watch games. We watch our kids. We're not next to each other.
I'm with you.
A lot of pacing, especially a moment like this. There's really nothing you can say. Like, your spouse doesn't want to hear it. You're so locked in, watching your child perform. You're as nervous, maybe more nervous than he is.
2-0.
It's a cool moment, though, that's for sure. And while we are happy for them, kind of banking on an epic failure too at the same time. I mean, nothing personal. We'd love to see the Rangers get back in this one. They've done a nice job of keeping themselves in this game after the Angels scored 5 in the first, and then they added another one in the second, and that has been it since then.
Good hitters count here for Odor, and he hits this one on the ground to second base. Fletcher on top of it. He throws out Rugi. 2 away, and now Chu 90 feet away over there at third.
It's kind of interesting. Think about it again. Try to put yourself in his shoes, right? You're a young rookie making your big league debut. You're now facing Rougned Odor. You know who Rougned Odor is. You know what he has done. But he's older than Rougned Odor. Right? I mean, Rugi's a star. People know his name. So strange with so many good young players that you'd be making your debut facing a big name that you know, and you're actually older than that guy.
Andrus is 0 for 2. Hits this one on the ground short. Andrelton Simmons, so good over there, and he completes the inning for Beltre, whose major league debut may be over, maybe not. We go to the 8th inning. It's still 6-4. Weird situation that they've been going through, the Atlanta Braves. But anyway, here Matt Moore, after a very impressive 7th inning. We'll see Upton, Ohtani, and Pujols. 6-4. And a fly ball out to right field. First pitch swinging. Mazara will put it away. There's one down. Hey, the Dodgers and Rangers Tuesday night, August 28th. It's a 7:05 first pitch. The first 15,000 fans to the ballpark going to take home a Robinson Chirinos removable mask bobblehead, courtesy of StubHub. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. I love that idea.
You can put it like on your finger?
Yeah.
Maybe. I wonder how big it is. Maybe not. Thumb?
A thumb, probably.
Big toe. Probably. It's probably a little bit, right?
Well, that's.
Just want it to be snug.
Yeah. At that point, you're probably just, you're really looking hard for something to do.
2 thumbs.
1 strike pitch and a breaking ball. Ohtani shanks it out of play. Ohtani today with a base hit. It's also struck out and grounded out. Ohtani lost quite a bit of time this year to the disabled list. Recently making some strides in a potential return to the mound, which is big news for the Angels. I believe it was yesterday he threw for the 2nd time off the mound, and on that occasion happened to be against hitters, didn't swing, but stood in against him. And so some optimism that he may be getting closer to returning to the mound side of things as well, as he swings and misses strike 3. 2nd time he struck out tonight, and they're 2 away in the 8th.
It's good elevation of the fastball here by Matt Moore after a couple of breaking balls. I mentioned when he is going well, it's because his curveball is good. Well, what a good curveball does is allow him to throw this fastball up in the zone. It's going to get on a hitter quicker, knowing that they have to protect against that curveball. And even though it was only 91 miles an hour, Ohtani was very late, and that's thanks to the good curveball that Matt Moore used earlier in that at bat.
Pujols on a base hit, scored a run in the 1st inning. It's popped up and flied out since then. And Moore gets him to swing and miss at that breaking ball. 0-2.
It's a really good changeup. Watch this thing fade away from Albert Pujols. 85 miles an hour. The previous fastball was 94, so 9 miles an hour slower, but really good arm action. And Albert, he's seen a lot of those over the course of his career, was unable to pick up on the changeup from Moore. He thought it was a fastball the way that he swung. Oh, my.
Strike 3 called. Moore maybe sharper in the 8th inning than he was in the 7th. Go to the bottom of the 8th in a 2-run game.
And of course, this team's postseason fate has been decided for quite some time. However, in talking to Jeff Bannister before today's game about what he's looking for from his team out of these last 6 weeks or so, it's basically to compete, to continue to grind out at-bats, to try to get better every day, and to continue to build upon the core of this team, the youth movement, if you want to call it that. And no guy's more a part of that youth movement than the 3 that are up to bat today, or right now, I should say, Nomar Mazara and company, and glad to have him back in the lineup, and a big part of, you know, developing that chemistry and that culture for the remaining time this season.
Yeah, it's really important. I think it's a good point, because you get to this point in the season and it's easy to kind of put your head down a little bit. It's easy to give at-bats away. These guys, they like each other a lot. There's good chemistry there, but also accountability is really important to make sure that that doesn't happen, that you don't give away at-bats, that you still go hard, that you play with energy. And for some guys, they have something to prove as well. Nomar Mazara doesn't. We know who he is. He's a really good player. He's going to be a good player for a long time. You see a defensive change at third base for the Angels. Jurickson Profar has already proven a bunch this year. And I think the Rangers have seen what they want to see from him. But Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Ronald Guzman, some good things have happened. They need to finish strong. I think what you'd love to be, when you're a player in this situation, what you want to be able to do is make sure that you send your manager and your general manager home in the offseason feeling really good about the fact that they need you. Not that they think you can do it, they need you on the opening day roster next year. That is the goal for these young guys, and that's what they have to be able to do, and I think a lot of these guys are getting that done.
Justin Anderson out here in the 8th inning. He goes 3-0 on Mazara. 45th appearance for Anderson.
He's got a good arm. See him there. Good ERA, good strikeouts when you look at the total innings there. And it's a very simple 2-pitch mix, just a slider and a fastball.
Nowhere near the plate. Walks Mazara, and that's how we open up the bottom of the 8th inning.
Now let's get to our Southwest Airlines player breakdown, and we're going to talk about Jurickson Profar. It's been a very good night for him defensively. He turned this triple play, did an excellent job there, and also been swinging the bat pretty well here tonight. He had that base hit up the middle, that chopper, and then this big home run to right field, scored that ball up, barely getting it out there. Also made another nice defensive play earlier at third. So it's been a good evening here for Jurickson Profar.
He takes a strike from Anderson.
There it is. Yeah, not surprising, right? I mean, as far as the playing time, taking advantage of it, really coming through, showing the Rangers what they had hoped to see. You think third base is his best defensive spot? That's the part I think that's still kind of out there a little bit. He's playing a good third tonight. We saw him at short for a while when Elvis was out. He's played second. I had a scout tell me the other day, he was asking,
That one got him on the elbow. First 2 men on.
Take a look at the replay here. Fastball that catches Jurickson. He's trying to get out of the way, and that left arm actually ended up getting in the way. Watch where it started. It wouldn't have hit him, but he started that swing a little bit, and that stung. You saw the reaction from Jurickson Profar, but I was going to say it was it's amazing he's laughing already. This guy is always smiling, man. It's incredible. But I was talking to a scout the other day, and he was asking me about Profar, what we've seen from this year. And I said, yeah, he's doing a great job. He's put a really good third and slugging, and he's hitting lefties. He goes, what about center field? This guy's been around for a while, played the game, scouts now, another organization. He goes, I really liked him in center field during the WBC a couple years ago. He just fit out there really naturally. And I said, I don't think the Rangers are looking at him as an outfielder. They kind of made that decision. Last year we saw him left for a little while, but it just ended up being a situation where the Rangers don't evaluate him or don't look at him as an outfielder anymore. He was a little disappointed by that. Yeah, everybody's got to do what they got to do, and you break stuff down. Not unusual to get different opinions from different evaluators. I thought it was kind of fascinating that he really liked him as a center fielder and thought there might have been a future for him there. Obviously the Rangers feel differently, but it opens up an interesting question. Center fielders right now probably unsettled for the Rangers. Solano's not having the greatest of years. He's missed some time. He had a great year last year. I don't think we're going to see it. I don't think the Rangers are going to do it, but I thought it was pretty interesting to hear that the other night.
1-1 to Gallo. That is low and in. So it is an interesting observation. And back to your question about what position may be his best, I think he would tell you it's shortstop. In fact, we talked to him the other day about this, and he likes shortstop. Now he feels good at third base as well. I think he considers that his second best position. I certainly have enjoyed watching him at third and feel like that seems to fit him pretty well. Really the question is not so much what is his best position, but where's the best place to use him, right?
Sure.
Because all these things, none of these questions are ever in a vacuum, right? It's always how does it fit within the team concept and what you have at other positions, and that's been part of the problem. I mean, you've got Odor locked in at second, you have Andrus locked in at short. And third base makes a lot of sense for Profar, depending on what they do with Beltre going forward. 3-1.
That's about time. Justin Anderson needs to throw a strike here, and he very likely is going to go to the fastball. They want to take that chance of loading the bases, and Joey Gallo is a pretty good fastball hitter. There's an opportunity here.
Of course, he's thrown 10 pitches. Only 2 of them have been strikes. We'll see how aggressive Gallo is. Tying runs are on. And there's a swing and a fly ball out toward right center. That's got a chance to get down. It does. Mazara around third. He'll score. Profar to third base. The tying run is 90 feet away after the Gallo double. It's a 6-5 ball game.
You think he broke his bat again?
Yes.
It sounded like he did. It really is incredible how strong he is. You can see a piece of the bat flying off there as he made contact, and yeah, you can hear that clear as day. And he hit this right in the gap, and Joey Gallo comes through once again. And Justin Anderson is probably lucky that he missed this spot. He was actually trying to go middle away, as you see Beltre cheering the guys on. He was trying to go middle away. Ball finished kind of middle in, but if he had gotten that on the outside part of the plate, pretty good chance that ball would have ended up in the seats.
Still nobody out. 6-5 our score. Chirinos. Whoa, way inside on him. This has been a unique journey tonight. Look at that, 9 balls, 3 strikes. A key juncture in the game. Chirinos is grounded out, flied out. He reached on a walk back in the second. And we've talked a lot about it, but Chirinos lately, in particular, has been, when he's made contact, really driving the ball. And so many of its hits, extra base hits this year, as we see activity again in the bullpen for the Angels. 3-0.
Justin Anderson right now trying to figure out what pitches he wants to use that he can get in the strike zone. He goes to the slider on a 2-0 count, but you can tell he kind of babied it in there. Didn't really throw it. Obviously not feeling good tonight. The confidence is lacking a little bit on which pitch to actually use.
First base is empty. And Anderson doesn't come close. They're loaded. A walk, a hit batter, a double, and another walk.
So Charles Nagy goes out, not Mike Sosu, so that means Justin Anderson will stay in this game. Of course, Nagy is the pitching coach here with the Angels, and it's just one of those nights it feels like for Justin Anderson where he doesn't have it. Nagy's going to try to find a way to help him get back on track, but based on what we've seen so far, he just threw a 3-0 breaking ball. Threw a 3-0 slider to Robinson Chirinos. And yes, there was the open base, but at the same time, go-ahead run is at second base. You necessarily are pitching around a guy in that spot, not with Ronald Guzman on deck.
That's a third visit of the inning. Not that they're in any real serious danger, but obviously some concern. Profar, Gallo, Chirinos in the dirt. All right. As Guzman stands in there, and we've seen what we've seen so far from Anderson. I mean, really, you have to take at least one strike, right?
Probably. It's tough because if you get that one, is it the best one? But I think at this point, it's probably not a bad play. But at the same time, this part in the year, this part in the season, you want to see what kind of decision your rookies are going to make. I don't think you want to cost yourself a game to do it. You can control these guys. You can tell them what to do. Don't swing here. You can make them not swing, or you can give them the freedom to make their own decisions. And then when they make mistakes, you call those teachable moments. There's an opportunity to then talk to your hitters so that when it really matters, the Rangers are chasing that ring, he'd already been there and done that, and he's been trusted.
The infield is in, bases loaded. 3-0.
All right, now I take. Now I'm putting the brakes on.
The thing about it is, if he were to have swung right on a good pitch, and drives the ball, and you tie the game, maybe go ahead. You know, great, good aggressiveness. You're looking for it. You know the guy's really got to throw a strike, and you can certainly color it that way. If it doesn't work out well, you say, well, listen, you got to wait till the guy throws a strike in that spot. It's really odd. The 3-0. There's a strike, and it was taken. Rangers have been very good with the bases loaded, especially in the second half. 22 hits this year, 93 at-bats with a runner at every base.
And the infield in, so good opportunity here for Guzman if he can see even a hard ground ball.
That's one grand slam already this year. Ooh, very close. Full count.
Oh, is it ever close? And Guzman is frustrated by this call. Borderline. You know, it's one of those things where you have a guy that's missing the strike zone as badly as Anderson has this inning. You usually don't get that call, and It's probably part of the frustration for Ronald Guzman.
3-2. And he chases what would have been ball 4. Strikes out, 1 away.
It's frustrating for Ronald Guzman. The pitch before probably causes him to expand his zone a little bit, as we'll take you pitch by pitch through that at bat. Anderson really struggling to find it. He goes with the slider out of the zone. Goes slider again out of the strike zone. There's a fastball, misses up and away, arm side. And then that fastball was near the top of the zone. It was a strike. This was the questionable call. Guzman didn't like it. And then they're trying to go in again, and they miss up and away. But Ronald Guzman saw that fastball out of Anderson's hand. It looked good, but it was 97 miles an hour, and he couldn't catch up.
So Kiner Falefa to pinch hit here for Tochi. And he takes a strike.
Oh, the shield stayed in, right? Did Tochi go back in?
I'm sorry, yeah, you're right.
I wrote him in my scorecard too, but then we got to erase him.
You're right. All of a sudden now, Anderson jumping ahead, and it's 0-2.
Now you like Isaiah Kiner Falefa in the spot. We've talked about this with him. He's a pretty good contact guy. Velocity, high velocity, he's been pretty good against. He'll definitely, I shouldn't say definitely, he's got a track record of putting that ball in play, but now he's down in the count, so he's going to have to protect against that slider from Anderson.
Profar has a tying run with him at third base. Gallo at second, Chirinos at first. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wow. So 2 gone in the inning. Kind of like this game, wild swings one direction to another.
Yeah, it's a good slider from Anderson, and when you're ahead in the count, this pitch is effective. When you're behind in the count, it is not. And we've seen that from him earlier this inning, and kind of Falefa thinking probably just trying to foul that pitch off, but it had some pretty good finish down in the dirt.
All right, so it leaves it in the hands of Shin-Soo Choo, who doubled his last time up. 6-5. Bottom of the 8th inning. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Anderson. It's ball 1.
Certainly the right man in the right spot. You know, of course, Choo is going to give Anderson a tough at-bat. He's as disciplined as any hitter in this Rangers lineup. He's done very well over the course of his career with the bases loaded. How about 337?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. And lately had really been swinging it well for the Rangers. Last 7 games at a .435 clip. Three balls, no strikes. So Anderson one bad pitch away from walking in the tying run.
I mean, he has to. I mean, the Rangers, the way this inning has gone, the way this game has gone, it just feels like, yes, they're not only tying this game, but they're going to win it.
Well, the question is, will they do more than simply walk in the tying run? Choo waits. And he takes a strike. What a laborious inning for Anderson. But to his credit, has battled his way here. Still has a chance to get out of the inning. Big 3-1 pitch. And Choo takes ball 4. We're tied. A bases loaded walk.
You take it any way you can get it. And with Choo, you always know this is going to be on the table. He has been a guy that works bats as good as anybody. Anderson misses with the fastball, tried to go in, it was away. They go breaking ball, that one finishes below the zone. There, fastball, the command just not there. He's able to get that 3-1 fastball across. And you know Chu's thinking, if you give me a strike, I'm gonna go after it. Well, Anderson did not, he lays off that fastball, and it's going to be it for him. That is a game-tying RBI, the bases loaded walk for Chu.
Friends at Jack Daniels remind you to drink responsibly.
What a wild one we have here tonight. Bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers have the bases loaded. They've just tied the game. Their second run of the inning. And now with Odor coming up, another major league debut. Osmer Morales coming on here for the Angels. The 14th player to make his big league debut this year in an Angels uni.
And you see the numbers in the minor leagues. Not great for him. The area over 6. Opponent's batting average better than 300. So what better situation to come into than bases loaded in a tie game?
We'll get him, Rook.
And that's the kind of the way it goes. And Mike Sosa's doing what he can right now as he's throwing this bullpen game. No true starter, and literally everybody getting that opportunity, it seems like.
First pitch to Odor, and that one kicks away not too far from Arcia. Yeah, 3 slams for Odor in his career. Morales, the 8th pitcher we have seen tonight for the Angels. Angels just swept the Padres. They've won 7 of their last 9. They've experienced unprecedented injuries this year. 2-0 the count. Tyler Skaggs would have started. There's your last man stand. Was that the bullpen catcher?
Kind of lonely down there right now, and there's still a couple of Angel pitchers still available. Bedrosian is down there, I believe. Parker. And that's it. And they're available, but having a snack inside or something, I don't know.
Maybe.
They're hiding. They don't want to come in this game.
2-0. There's a swing and a miss. I mentioned Skaggs recently hurt. Nick Tropiano also hurt. So they went out and they signed or acquired right-hander Odrisamer Espagne from the Marlins on Tuesday night. And he'll make a start tomorrow, but he's not really so much a starter either. The 2-1. Ground ball up the middle, off the glove, could be trouble. Out at first base. And that ends the inning.
Jeff Bannister almost, I mean, I've never seen him jump out of the dugout as fast as he just did. They instantly ask for a replay, and understandably so. Let's take a look right here. Rougned Odor hustling, and he is safe by a pretty decent amount. It's a pretty bad call at first base in this spot. You know, we get stuff wrong up here all the time, but live, I thought he beat it out. And that first replay showed us that he beat it out. I've never seen Banny jump out of the dugout that quick with both hands in the air. And obviously, it's a big moment, it's intense, and so that'll contribute to that to some degree. But he got this right. All the fans here got it right. Good job, everybody.
Well, hopefully New York gets it right. I mean, it's not even close.
The ones that matter.
C.B. Buckner and Fielding Colbreth, the two men on headsets. And this should be a very short conversation. And the Rangers should have the 7-6 lead. Ford replay challenge. It is a short one. And indeed, he is safe, and the Rangers have taken their first lead of the game. How about this one tonight? Wow.
This is really amazing. I mean, first of all, great hustle by Odor, but how about the fact that this was even a play? It goes off the glove of the pitcher. Andrelton Simmons just cuts off his second base, and I got it. No, I'm going to get it. And his momentum was going that way. He has the stronger arm, no doubt about it. It's pretty incredible that he just Kelly leaked Fletcher. I mean, he just went right in front. He was sitting right in front of that ball. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was a pretty amazing play.
Now Andrus, the Rangers will have batted around, and that one gets away. Coming in from third, Chirino. Oh, he's in there!
Wow! What a slide by Robinson Chirinos. That throw beat him. It looked like he was definitely going to be out. And he's able to avoid the tag. At least that was the initial call, and I don't think the Angels are going to challenge. His breaking ball gets away. It's a good effort to keep that ball in front of him is RC, and a nice job by Morales to cover home. But watch this slide. Come on.
Yeah, but he just got down quicker than Morales could bring the glove down.
That's amazing. That's a great job by Robinson Chirinos. And a great call, too, at home.
And a big wild pitch. An insurance run for the Rangers on top, 8-6. And it's 1-1 on Elvis.
You know, the other part of that bullpen we were talking about with the Angels right now, that the last two guys down there, Cam Bedrosian has thrown 2 out of the last 3 days. Blake Parker has thrown 3 of the last 4 days. They don't have any rested arms down there. They have 2 that are available, I think. This could be Morales' game.
Whew. Just missed 2-1. You know, the other day, we saw something for the first time in Mike Scioscia's career when he used a position player at pitching. And obviously, he did not want to do that, but it was his catcher, Arcia, who's back behind the plate right now. It was a 7-2 ball game, and he let Arcia pitch. And in 18 years as the manager of the Angels, he had never done it. Never asked a position player to do it, and he hated to do it. Banny doesn't like doing that either. There's some guys who are very resistant to putting position players in that spot. 3-1. That's a full count.
So I mentioned what's happening down that bullpen. There's a little visual for you to understand it. The Angels came into this game knowing that they were throwing a bullpen game, and they have thrown a bullpen game. They've used everybody but Cam Bedrosian and Blake Parker. As I mentioned, both of those guys, at least in the case of Parker's probably unavailable, knowing he's thrown 3 out of the last 4. Bedrosian has thrown 2 out of the last 3.
Oh, a liner to second base, and Fletcher puts it into the inning, but the Rangers score 4 and take the lead.
We'll take you back to the Joey Gallo double, if you remember that. It seems like it was a while ago, but he drives in a run. We saw Robinson Chirinos with a great slide and just a fantastic inning for the Rangers.
By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right.
What a ball game. 8-6 Rangers on top as we go to the 9th inning. And a chance for Jose Leclerc to finish this one off for Matt Moore, right? Carlos Tocci now in the game in center field. And here's Leclerc. Andrelton Simmons will start things off for the Angels, and he takes ball 1.
So Jose Leclerc knows Andrelton Simmons is going to come out swinging. Not a guy that waits around very long. You should check out the numbers for Leclerc. They have been fantastic this season. Better than a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Tremendous batting average at 144. I lost it already. 122.
High fly ball out to shallow left field. Gallo racing in. Andrus out, and neither can get to it, and that's going to be a double for Simmons. Gallo is just too deep.
And take a look at this play between Elvis Andrus and Joey Gallo. It wasn't hit very hard off the bat of Andrelton Simmons. It hung in the air. You see Joey reacting after getting a read on it. Might have been fooled by the swing a little bit. Elvis called for it. It's a tough play. And it's one of those ones where there's not enough time for Joey to really call off Elvis at that point. Unfortunate break there.
So it gets a potential tying run to the plate.
So I told you to look in your encyclopedia. You didn't.
No.
But John Blake did in his electronic encyclopedia about that triple play.
Yeah.
So, well, you know, how often does that happen? There's a triple play where the batter's not retired. You got questions, we got answers, Dave Raymond. The answer to that question, the last time that there was a triple play that the batter was not retired, which we saw tonight, June 3rd, 1912.
Wow.
And 6, that was my math, 6 years ago, yeah. When the Brooklyn Dodgers took on the Cincinnati Reds, there it is. Now, I think it should be noted that during one of our inning breaks, I went and asked John Blake that question. Hey, do you know, what do you think here? And he kind of shot me down a little bit. That's probably happened pretty recently.
What?
Yeah.
There's no need to throw John under the
I'm
bus.
not.
He just provided
No, this
you
is
that
how
information.
this is how we work together. We challenge each other.
Thanks, John.
But I had no way of getting that information. So I'm super excited that he went and did.
High pop-up in his short right field. One away. All right, well, turning our attention to tomorrow, our Ford probable Mike Minor. How about since the All-Star break? 3-1 in his 4 starts, a 3.42 ERA. And the note there at the bottom, only 12 hard hit balls allowed, fewest among Major League starters. So he has been really good lately.
He's been strong, and that's been a good sign to see for Mike Minor. We talked about all the young players and finishing the season strong for Mike Minor. It's about building up that stamina, going back into the rotation, and he's been looking really good here lately.
Caleb Cowart came in to play third base. And his first at bat of the night. Clerk's 1-0.
It's a great, that is a great pitch from Jose Leclerc that we don't see very often. We talk about that cut changeup that he throws and the way that it goes away to righties and even go into lefties. But when he can turn it over like that, we don't see that very often from him, that he does that to a left-hander. That was nasty at 89 miles an hour. Almost looked like a split finger fastball. He tried to do it again. That one at 88. That one didn't have the depth that this one had. Watch this. There's the changeup grip. Same one he uses when he cuts it. but he turns that one over. Look at the finish on that thing.
Headed somewhere else.
What's that? Yeah. We don't see it too often from him, but that's a deadly pitch to left-handers when you can keep it down and away.
Swing and a miss. Evens things up 2-2.
Now this one is the slider and the one that cuts in, and it's actually 5 miles an hour slower. You don't see that too often where a guy's slider is slower than his changeup. I mean, that's why hitters have had such a hard time with him this year, and they're batting just 144 coming into this game.
Check swing, did he go? Strike 3 called. Coward down looking.
So Mike Sosa doesn't love that call, and certainly Coward doesn't either, but this is the right call. Vic Carpazza needed an extra second to kind of let it register. This was a strike. No two ways about it. That ball is an absolute strike. Just a little bit of a delayed call in there, and anytime that happens, you get very frustrated as a hitter. Understandably so, we get it. Because he looked to see first whether or not it was a check swing, but then he realized it was a strike anyway. And so he called it accordingly. That was a good call.
So now Eric Young Jr. Well, this is something. 5 runs in the first inning by the Angels. A bullpen night for their pitching staff. Ariel Jurado got himself righted, ended up going 6 innings. Bullpen's taking it from there. The offense has come back. Now the 1-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Well, it's been a long and really good rivalry over the years between the Rangers and the Angels. And this year the Angels have had the upper hand. Taking 5 of the first 6. But it's been a long time since they've played one another this year. Been a long stretch without seeing each other. Have 12 games remaining down the stretch starting tonight. Here it comes. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. A strikeout by Leclerc. And the Rangers come all the way back to win it tonight, 8-6.
What an incredible game, and a great game for so many of these young players with the Rangers, and a character game for them. Their ability to come back has been pretty impressive as we bring you our 4-game summary. And what a game it was here tonight in Arlington. Nomar Mazara, welcome back. He hit a home run. That seemed like a while ago. We saw Joey Gallo do it. He broke his bat, hit a home run. We saw Jurickson Profar hit a home run. We saw Joey Gallo with the double. The comeback kids tonight got it done. And then, shoot, what does he do best? He walks, and he did it with the bases loaded, and then a great hustle play here from Rougned Odor to beat this out. That was run number 8 came across the board, or excuse me, 7 in that spot. Here comes number 8 on the great slide from Robinson Chirinos. The Rangers bullpen was really good. Great job by Jurado too to also bounce back. He gave up 5 in the first, another run in the second. He ended up going 6 and giving up 6 runs, but they all came at the very beginning of the game. Matt Moore warmed up in the first, the third, eventually got in the game in the 7th. He was fantastic, and just a tremendous all-around great night here for the Rangers.
So many heroes in this one, but a guy who helped turn a triple play tonight is standing by with Emily Jones.
Yeah, such a pivotal play in the game, Jurickson. There in the 4th inning, bases loaded. You start the triple play. Take me through it.
As soon as he hit the ball, I was thinking double play because I didn't see the runner at first. So I step on the bag, and then I take the runner, and then I throw it to second. The runner that was on first didn't run because he thought that I could drive. So that was it.
Did it register in your mind what was going on?
Yeah, the play. Also, like I said, I can play at the moment.
Big night for you at the plate as well. Offensively, how well are you guys clicking right now?
We doing every little thing. You know, that's the big part of it. We just trying to grab and pass it to the next guy, and everybody is doing a great job.
And I know for you guys as a young core to do that kind of together and to build that bond and that chemistry together is the foundation of this thing moving forward?
Yes, that's We know we're very back in the standing, but every game matters for us. Every game is a chance for us to get better. So we just gonna grind till the end.
Jurickson, congratulations on the win. We appreciate the time. As always, we'll send it back now to you guys.
All right, thank you, Emily. What a fun one tonight. What a wild one tonight. John Radigan, Mike Bassick, and Tom Grieve, you've got plenty to talk about tonight. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond. Thank you for joining us tonight. Stay with us. Still more coverage of Rangers baseball coming up right after this.